makes Crysis 2 special? Why should PlayStation gamers pick it up instead of another first-person shooter?
Yeah, so Crysis 2 is a completely new experience for people who haven't played Crysis before, and the main thing that separates it apart from all other first-person shooters is the nanosuit. What the nanosuit is this awesome piece of warfare technology that the soldier wears into battle, and it gives them the ability to temporarily be armored and survive like explosions and hail of gunfire, or go completely invisible and go cloaked, and so they can sneak around the battlefield. And then on top of that, it makes them very mobile, so they can sprint, they can slide while shooting, they can power jump, they can ledge grab. So they're very, very mobile on the battlefield, and this one's set in New York, so there's a lot of opportunity for vertical gameplay and jumping around on top of buses and climbing in windows and just moving all over the urban landscape. So it's like has a kind of parkour feel to it, but you have all the guns and all the explosions and everything you do with the nanosuit. And the important part is when you're playing the game with the nanosuit, it plays different than other games because you start to develop play styles that you like playing like an assassin or playing like a predator from the movie, just going cloaked and playing with your food before you eat it. That kind of like a cat and mouse thing when you're attacking the AI and hunting them, or like an action hero. And we give you all the tools to create all these great action moments because with the strength of the suit, being able to survive heavy gunfire and damage, you can also do things like kick cars in single player and multiplayer, like kick cars at people and kick cars over and create all these booby traps and pick up objects and throw them, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it becomes quite a lot of mayhem that you can do.
So where do you think the game falls in between the open world sandbox gameplay of the original and the linearity of most modern first-person shooters?
So we are using a terminology to describe Crysis 2 that we call choreographed sandbox. So we have areas of the game that are linear, so we can develop and deliver story to you because we know you're going to go through this section in a specific way as you pass through it. But then we hand you out into open action bubbles like how Crysis was, where they're big open expanses, and we do that within the same level. So you have a lot of freedom of choice in sandbox gameplay, and our sandbox gameplay is different than like a big open world game. It's like how it was in Crysis. Crysis 2 is like how it was in Crysis. So what we do is we go to a lower level of detail than most sandbox games go to. There's games like big open world games, and your decision stops at what car might you be driving or what weapon might you be equipping. For us, we let you customize the weapon completely. We let you customize your nanosuit completely with modules. You can pick up, small objects like shopping carts. You can grab a teddy bear and beat down a guy with a teddy bear. It's a lower level of detail and granularity and destruction than most sandbox games allow you to have. So we have these big juxtaposition of spaces of linear when we want it. We want you to play a certain way, and then open it up and let you decide how you want to play.
So other than deadly teddy bears, what new weapons will be featured in Crysis 2?
Yeah,
and do you have a personal favorite?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. In multiplayer, I really like using the Gauss rifle, and the Gauss rifle is a favorite, of everyone's. And it's a high impact, magnetically driven slug, and when you hit guys with it, they just go flying. In single player and multiplayer, it really sends them and tosses them around. That one's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good ones. I mean, I even like the pistols. The pistols in Crysis 2 are really, really fun to use as well.
Excellent. So obviously it's in New York, the urban jungle. What landmarks are gamers going to encounter, and in your opinion, which is the most impressive? It's a hard choice, I know.
As you can imagine, what happens at the end of the game is the most impressive, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I don't want to tell them what it is, but as you would expect, we go to a lot of signature locations throughout New York, like places like Battery Park. The game starts in that area, so you traverse the island of New York, if you want to call it like an island. Crysis was an island. As you traverse it from beginning to end, you're going to go through the city and see all these cool spots along the way, and big spectacles and a Crysis style way.
I didn't even think about that. Technically, it's still an island, I guess, right? All right. So talking about the CryEngine 3 now, what can this engine accomplish that other popular engines, like maybe say Unreal, can't handle?
Okay, so specifically, one of the things that we did with CryEngine 3 was we wanted to make a Crysis-style game on console. And so what we did is we took CryEngine 2 and we ripped the guts out of it and rewrote a lot of it from the ground up to work with multiple platforms. So whether you're playing on PlayStation 3, Xbox, PC, doesn't matter. our engine handles all of those really, really well, and it scales based on the hardware. So if you have a PC as an example, and that was something the original Crysis had problems with, was running on the lower specification PC machines. If your PC is as powerful as a console, you'll get a console-like experience, and if you have a high-end PC, you'll get a really, really good technical experience from what we're able to throw at it with a computer that you just spent like $7,000 on. But at all times, everyone gets the same great game experience and the same fun, and it looks phenomenal on console as well as PC. So that's one of the biggest strengths of the engines, and we do 3D. So like as you're seeing here today at the event, it's in 3D, and it's it's probably blurry if you don't have the glasses on. But you know, it's in 3D, and for us in CryEngine, there's no performance hit for us to do 3D, and a lot of games are you know, cutting their frame rate in half by doing 3D, or they're losing resolution in the screen, and we don't sacrifice either of those things. It doesn't cost us any performance, and it's in 3D, and it's very pleasing, and we've been working on 3D technology for 2.5 years, so it's very pleasing to play, and we want you to play for a long time. This isn't a naive implementation of 3D, it's a very mature implementation of 3D.
Excellent. So obviously the game looks gorgeous.
Good.
I imagine the development budget was huge. At its peak, how large was the development team? And if you can reveal this, about how much did the game cost to make?
I can't reveal the cost, but there were over 200 people working on it. I mean, if you better make sure.
Expensive.
If you go watch the credits, you better get a drink first. I mean, like names just go by forever. It's amazing how many people worked on this game, and working on it was a tremendous pleasure for me. The development team is extremely talented and very enthusiastic, and with that many people, I mean, every day something awesome was happening somewhere, you know, all over the place, and the game just skyrocketed in quality over the course of development because there was just so many people that could work on it. It was really a great thing to be a part of the new Crysis 2. We can't wait for everybody to play it and see it for themselves and have fun.
Excellent. A couple more questions. Are there any disparities between the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions of the game? Or
people can try to find them, but I don't think they'll find anything. I mean, they both run great. They both play great. Whether you're playing single player or multiplayer, you know, they're identical offerings. The visual quality is outstanding on both of them, and so there's really no difference.
And are you planning on doing any downloadable content post-launch for Crysis 2?
I can't announce anything that we're going to do.
But
you can imagine we will, right? It's a big game, and there's a lot of fun to be had, so you can imagine we're doing some stuff, but I can't say specifically what it is yet.
All right, great.
We'll talk about that in the future.
And I've got a community question for you from one of the members of the PSU community. Neo the One asks, will PS3 gamers get a Crysis 2 demo?
They can probably hope for one, yeah. I can't say anything specific, but we haven't announced one yet, so.
So you haven't announced one, but you think they'll be satisfied? Probably.
We want as many people to play Crysis 2 as possible at all times. So.
All right.
You know. That's really all I can say about it. I mean, the main thing is, you know, I really want people to play Crysis 2 and play it, whether they're playing single player or multiplayer. I really want everyone to play it. It comes out on March 22nd in North America and March 25th in Europe, so go out and pre-order it today. Make sure you get your copy because everybody's getting more and more excited about it the more that they see about the game, and you know, you want to make sure that you're not left out on the first day, so go get your pre-order in.
Excellent. Any last comments before we wrap up?
No, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you had fun playing it, or if you haven't gotten to play, I hope you play it.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed 3D and, you know, have a good time.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.